All right, welcome back, guys. In the last lesson, we saw how we could use the alert keyword in JavaScript to create a pop-up in our browser. And the pop-up would say whatever is in between the two round brackets. In this case, it would be hello. Now, how does the browser know which part of this code is actual code, i.e. keywords like alert, and which parts of this line is the text that we want to display? Well, there's something that we've added here that tells the browser that this is a string. And the secret is, of course, these two little quotation marks, because everything that they enclose gets interpreted by the computer as a string, so that it gets taken out of the code and gets interpreted as text. And this is really important because all the code that we write is written with text, right? With characters in the English alphabet. And it's really important that the computer knows which part are the code and which parts are the text. And this is a great place to introduce you to something called data types, because a string is exactly that. It's a data type. It's a way of classifying data to tell the computer how the program intends to use the data. In this case, it's simply the text that we want to be displayed in our pop-up. And you will see this data type across all programming languages, and it's pretty much always called a string. And that's because it's simply a string of characters, just as you would have a string of pearls. And in the coming lessons, whenever I refer to string, I'm always talking about text that's not meant to be interpreted as code, or just a string of characters. Now, there are other data types other than strings. For example, there are numbers. And numbers, because they have different symbols from the alphabet that we use for code, then we don't actually need any special symbols to tell the computer that this is a number. We can just simply type the number. And finally, the last data type I want to show you is the Boolean. And this is a data type that describes data that is either true or false. And we're going to be using a combination of all of these data types in order to create the programs and the websites in the coming lessons and modules. So this really is the groundwork, and it's the fundamentals of how all programming languages work. So let's take a look at this in more detail. I want you to open up your console, so you can do that by going to View, Developer, JavaScript Console, and you'll see it show up down here. And in the console, you can do a number of things. So you can, for example, add numbers to each other. So 2 plus 3 equals 5, and you get an output after you hit enter. You can also write the code that we wrote before, which is the alert keyword, and that tells the browser that we want a pop-up that says the output of 2 plus 3. So once I hit enter, we'll get a pop-up that says 5. Now, I want to show you another keyword other than the alert, and this is called type of. And this actually tells you what is the data type of whatever it is that you put within these round brackets. So for example, if I put 23 in here, then I will get the output of this is a number. But if I wrote something like type of my name inside some quotation marks, then I get told that this is a string. And finally, let's just, for completion's sake, use a Boolean, for example, true. Then I get told that this is a Boolean. So in the coming lessons and modules, we'll be using all of these different data types in order to create our websites and web apps. And understanding the fact that different pieces of data can have different data types will be a foundation block towards building those websites and web apps. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to talk about another foundation block for all programming languages, which is the variable. So for all of that and more, I'll see you on the next lesson.